Okay, let me go ahead and do that real quick. Close. Mix things up. Pandora. Went for a walk today to try to cool my jets, I guess I should say. So I feel a little bit better, so long as no one just irritates me. And then actually made a phone call. Talked to the HR department, and they were like, yeah, so we want to do a second interview with you. Can you do it next Tuesday? And I said, yeah, I can do that. So I mean, great, perfect. Let me put the H. There we go. I got a lot done today, and seeing that it's only 3 o'clock. I've done a lot more than what some people will do in less than a week, so.
see what you have made. You will see what I have finally become. I laid to waste. My spirit broken and these memories remain. So every day claims a piece of me. Every waking hour claims my inner peace. My inner peace. As the restless day, like the shadows on its head, they lay siege to all we ever had. Yeah, I stood strong, I was not alone. I stand defiant, I stand ever proud. I am the chosen, I am the guardian, the guardian.
Let me pause that real quick. It's kind of strange. Oh, still in pausing. Okay. It's kind of strange, like when people tell me they have a project to do and they, they have a week to do it, and then they have nothing else going on, and then comes to find out it's the end of the week, and they find out they only did about 20 minutes worth of work. Meanwhile, in 3 days, I can apply for 8 jobs, have 2 interviews, have 1 second interview, contact HR department, fix my bank account. I mean, it's just like I don't get it. I don't understand people like that. Like if something has to be done that direly, why would you fucking wait until before like the last day? I'm not like that. I like to get stuff done as soon as I hear like something's urgent, like, oh, we gotta get this done. I'm like, okay, well, get it done at the very least this same day, at the very least. Or if I go to work, hey, this needs to be done at this time. I'm like, all right, well, let me talk with you and let's figure this out. If it's on me, then I'll do my best and I'll find a way. It's all really it takes. You just have to have a little bit more self confidence. You know what I mean? That's all it is. So, like I said, I just don't get it. I hate lazy people. Is my thing. I hate them. I really do, because as soon as you start moving your body and getting stuff done and actually getting stuff done instead of fucking crying about what you have to do, kind of sounds a little bit anti-diplomatic, because you kind of sound like a little bit of a child. It's like, oh man, I got all this stuff to do, and then you do nothing, and then you party, and then you do nothing. See what I mean? Like, you understand? It's kind of a weird complex, but there's people out there, trust me, who are like that. What up, Vato? A little bit of a mini rant there. It's like when people ask me for my advice or anything like that, and I just don't overthink. That's my main thing. Do not overthink it. And then if I give you a solution, don't be like, well. No, don't overthink it. Just try out my advice, please, and don't think about it. Not obviously to you, Voorhees. I know you're a good guy, but I'm just speaking like in general, especially on this platform, man. A lot of angry bitches. who spend more time trashing on each other instead of, oh, I don't know, work on something. Okay, this song's kind of irritating. I'm going to put a thumbs down on that one. Nope. There's one thing that I can't stand about God. It's metal bands who make covers of shit like that. So. There's one thing I can't stand.
To the echoes of pain, these are good, these are good. Cold and empty, lifeless remains. These are good, these are good. Fields of the fallen, blood washed in rain. This cannot be all that will be. So you have torn this world.
You know what's strange too? Is that I allow people, most people, not all, but I allow a lot of people to think that I am as dumb as I am on face value when wholeheartedly I just listen like, you know, like I'm a lot more intelligent than what I perceive myself to others to be at face value because I like to keep the peace and I think that's healthy. But man, when I get pissed, and I don't mean like getting salty and getting, you know, like getting over it in the next 5 minutes, but when I'm pissed off at somebody, trust me, it's definitely from the heart. There's a lot of rules that I have too, and one of them is never fuck with my money, ever. I've gotten jobs before, and then people would just walk in because I have that job. They're like, "Oh, I'm allowed in the area that says employees only because I'm related to them, right?" Fucking no. Like I got written up for that shit once, not too long ago. Fucking delusional bastards, man. Like, and they like to think like, oh, he's just being a mean guy. No, I'm being stern. Don't fucking do that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, I know the bartender, so I'm allowed to be behind the bar kind of thing. If that makes sense. No, you're not. Unless we asked you for help, you're not allowed back there. Fucking Let him dance if he gets busy. It's been 2 situations when I was at a bar like way back in the day, where a good friend of mine was working at this bar, and I was just chilling, having like a couple beers and stuff, and he was fucking clusterfucked, and he didn't have a bar back. And then I went to him. I was like, Alex, do you need help? Like, really? I only had like a beer or two. Do you need help? And he was like, could you grab me some ice? I'll pay for like your next 2 beers. And I'm like, no, I'll do it. That's fine. So I had to, it's one of those like older machines where you have to like scoop the ice out, put it into the bucket, and then pour it into the ice bender or the ice cooler. It was a fucked up night for him. I was like, no, man, of course I'll do that for you. That's why I asked, do you need help? Because I can see you're fucking falling behind. And the way they repaid me is that he taught me like the basics of how to bartend. So that's like a nice story right there. He went from bartending to being a mechanic, and then he eventually became a dad. For someone who tried so hard to get with a girl, he finally became married for as long as I know. He got married, and I think after 12 years, and like him talking to me about girls and stuff like that, it's just like, yeah,
Take me to your universe.
I don't overthink these things, I overthink the things that are like most important. And then once my mind gets overdrive, I immediately think, okay, let's get it done. It's that fucking simple. Or if, I'm supposed to be expecting a call this month or something like that, maybe I should call them back and try. Duh, communication failure for the past 6 months, surely it's on both parties, and what a fucking joke. That's why, so I've been job searching technically for about a month now, and whenever I don't hear a job back for I wait about a week until after I put in my application, I'll give them a call back and say, hey, so I'm just curious about, my name's and it's obviously not Hanaha, but you get it. I'm not gonna say my actual name on there, but and then I'll say I just filled out an application about a week ago. I was just wondering about your hiring process, if you guys still are hiring or not, and just mention because I have a list and I just want to kind of check it off if you guys are or not. That's all. That's how I get interviews, because I make a phone call and then I'll meet up. I'll meet up with them, make a phone call, and say, yeah, so most interviews I had were kind of especially in the restaurant industry, it's kind of like meeting an old friend, I even get, whenever I'm talking about it on my personal social media, on Facebook, I get people saying, oh, how do you get so many interviews? I've been applying everywhere. Fucking open your goddamn mouth and show initiation. If you want a job, if you really want a job, you'll get it. Trust me. You'll get it if you really want to work. Also, another thing in mind is that little money is a lot better than no money. Meaning, if you have to start from scratch and go to a minimum wage job when you're earning nothing, and to begin with, don't fucking complain about it. work on yourself and say, hey, you know what? It's a lot more than I used to have. Of course, I have to work a lot for it, and sometimes those minimum wage jobs, they suck. They're built there, in my opinion. They're put there to build discipline. So, you know, if you can't even do a minimum wage job and like put yourself back and tie up your bootstraps, put on your big boy or big girl pants, and start from the scratch when you have nothing that's going for you, then fucking trust me. Fucking seek help, because if you can't discipline yourself on saying, you know what, this is where I need to be right now, immediately, that's completely on you. Whatever failures that are gonna come through your life, completely on you. So, and I've told myself that too. Like, hey, man, like, it doesn't even matter what state you live in. Doesn't matter. And trust me, I've met people who are like, oh, I'm on disability, and they break their fucking pinky finger and get whatever. And then, especially during the pandemic, my God, meeting people who are like, oh man, it was so cool. I got like $1,200 every week. And then when the pandemic ended, I had to go back to work, and now it really sucks. Oh, no shit. What you do? Fucking jack off with it? Like, no shit, it sucks for you now. I worked through the pandemic myself. I mean, it's not that fucking difficult. You have to just put your mind to it, you know? I think that's what frustrates me about a lot of people, and like some people that I'm referring to, like I care about. And my God, when you try to talk to those people that you care about and tell them like, hey, you just need to do this, and then you get snapped back with attitude, it's just like I have no other choice but to throw my hands up. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do then? I give him my advice, and you think I'm and I talk to them in the calmest voice, right? And sometimes I even get this. This is my favorite line. What have you ever done for this family? Sure, still didn't ruin it. My sister and I are pretty cool. My older brother and I are pretty cool. I don't know what the fuck you want more than that. I mean, shit. I hate asking for help sometimes. Sometimes I need it. Sometimes people need that guidance and then say like, hey, I'm ready to be gung ho. I just
and you're running and running, but you
Okay.
can never reach the submit button or something like that. So Tax Act offers
You are an ad. I'll let you play, but I'm not going to listen to you. Just watching the line go down till it ends. Then I'll mute. I figured out the system.
At the carnival, we do it island style. Picture the people smiling back at you. On the island, it's a perfect view. Weather's nice for the carnival. We celebrate and clothing optional.
Let me tell you this much too. When I was at my lowest, my absolute lowest, I still went to work. When actually, let me pause the song because it's kind of distracting my mind a little bit. When I went through my breakup, that was my lowest, my absolute lowest, and I did a lot. And she perceived, and then at some point I perceived too, because I went through a lot of hardships, and I still think I was at my lowest uh when my 10-year relationship ended. I still think I was, but my perspective obviously changed, and then I don't really know how to put it, but uh, it has never gotten lower than that. Um, since then, whenever I made a mistake, actually, I think my main last roommates from 3 years ago, I think when they told me like, "Hey, you got to go," after I cleaned up and everything, and cleaned up my act, and like, "Hey, you got to go anyway." And I was like, "Okay, so that's not fair," but I left the piece to be. Uh, maybe I should have tried a little bit more, but it's like again, that's in the past. I think maybe that might have been a close second, but at the same time, like I needed to leave that room because I was in that room for over 7 years, 7 or 8 years, like renting it out, going to work. I think it's just become like a really hostile environment because I always heard arguments between, the husband and wife. I think that might be kind of a close second, but over the past like 2 to 3 years, whenever I fluked or messed up, like severely, people would just like talk to me. No shouting, be like, "Hey, you know, you're going through this, going through that." I think being shown that back to my original standpoint, uh, jobs, things, or anything like that, they're not really as hard as they are perceived to be. Um, and I'm saying that with all the weird ass experience, uh, from my perspective, and a lot of people like don't like hearing about that. But if you're gonna have a beer, you got to go to work. You know, that's my philosophy. Work your 8 hours, 10 hours, perhaps sometimes even 12 hours. My longest was um, I worked a 16-hour shift at a grocery store once, and I fucking hated it. Was it 16 or 14? Either way, I hated it. But it was definitely the longest shift. And I did that because one of my other close friends, well, not close friends anymore, but one of my friends, like if I see him, if I go to his store, then I'll be able to walk in and say, "Hey, well, hey, man, how's it going?" I'm not going to say his name, obviously, and I'm not going to name the store, obviously, because no. But I'll say, "Hey, man, how's everything going?" I'm like, and he'll immediately say, like, "Do you want a job back?" Because I kind of miss working with you. Yeah. The last time that happened, I was actually working at Chili's. So I told him no. But right now, it kind of sounds like it might be okay, you know. Um, but the thing is that man, he would just want me to work like overnight shifts, and I have no platform whatsoever to work overnights, like at all. Um, if I could, shut my eyes and like actually get some sleep, yes, I think I definitely would do that. But I'd only do that because I used to be like a night shift manager, and so I know how to place stuff on shelves and stuff like that, so on and so forth. I know how to read barcodes just by looking at the item, like know where it's supposed to be placed or what have you. It's something that it's being a night shift stalker is something that's really easy to learn, but really fucking hard to master, and I have not mastered it.
Then
Art.
I've seen riding And I'ma read them tonight. And I saw this girl's electricity. Dancing at the carnival.
Irritates me about that I haven't mastered it yet. But that's only because I don't feel that a lot of people who want to work night shift, they don't have the the area to properly sleep. Let me show you, or let me say, for example, when I was working night shift, I had 3 friends in my life, just 3, sometimes 4. One was the prior manager who trained me. His name was Arturo, and now he owns his own Mexican restaurant in an island. Not an island which you may think of, but in an island. And it's one of my things that I need to stop by again and say hello. And the last time I saw him, what I did was, and I kind of want to do it again. I kind of challenged a little bit. I was like, hey, so I'm gonna eat like 5 steak burritos. And he's like, what for? I'm like, well, feeding people. And like he and I hugged. And trust me, he and I also fought too. Trust me, like there have been nights when I wake up like with 2 hours of sleep, I was pissed. And I would tell him like, dude, these things are not working right. And then I would tell him constantly, like, I know it's not your fault, but this is some fucking bullshit. And he was like, yeah, it is. Trust me, I know too. Like he and I are like intertwined. If that makes sense. Because he cared about me, and he liked my personality, and and he was like, "Hey, you're gonna come back to night crew." I'm like, after like working like a year and a half, working 4 to 1, so I was happy. But then it was like, "Hey, you're gonna come back to night crew." I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to." But I intertwined myself and say, you know what? Fuck it. I didn't give myself a choice. I had to thing that worried about. Sorry, I had to burp. The thing that worried about me the most was that I was highly suggested to at least give myself about 48 hours to switch from day crew to night crew, like as far as like my sleeping schedule goes. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that.
I'm Johnny Mosley with the Toyota Tahoe Report.
And unfortunately, what happened was my boss made an oopsie, and at the time he made a really big fuck up. I'm not even oopsie is a nice way to put it, but he fucked up. He scheduled me about like a 24-hour time span, and then I was scheduled to work about a 5-hour shift where I did cashiering, and then he was like, okay, so you're gonna go back to night crew now. And I was like, oh god, like I rolled my eyes. I remember that I rolled my fucking eyes when I heard that. And then so I deprived myself a little bit of sleep, and I even before that 5-hour checking shift happened, I already fucking clocked out mentally. And then the supervisor, right like 10 minutes before my 5-hour shift was supposed to end, when they knew I had to go to bed, they were like, hey, do you want to stay full time and get 16 hours of sleep before I have to revert back to night crew? Are you fucking stupid? Are you dumb? Like, no. Hell no. And they called me over the intercom like 3 times. Not the manager who made the schedule, because he knows. Not the assistant manager. No, the dumbass supervisor rings me up on the telecom saying, red line? Ken, red line? Are you sure you don't want to stay full 8 hours? No, I can't. I'm working night shift. in about a day and a half. I have to sleep. Thank you. Just hang up, pay attention to the customer. It's like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? And then 5 minutes later, Ken, red line. Roll my eyes. Apologize to the customers, by the way. I'm sorry. Yes. Are you absolutely sure you don't want to stay for a full shift? I'm already scheduled, like I told you, for a night shift this week. Leave me alone and let me go to bed after this. I am tired of this, No, I didn't say that. I was like, I'm tired already. It's already like close to the end of my shift. I need to get home. I need to sleep. I'm working night shift in about less than 16 hours. Leave me alone. And they just stared at me like, "Oh, well, we're gonna miss you." I'm like, yeah, because I used to cover for y'all your guys' shifts, and because I'm the one that was the nice guy that decided to do everything for everybody else, I get to do more work because you guys aren't fucking capable of doing it. So, wow, it is. I don't know. I don't fucking get it. I don't understand how people think like that. And it's the same people who are just like, "Oh, why don't you have Ken do it, boss? He's the one who can do it." At the same time, if they try to do it, they're fucking miserable. So, and that was like my mentality too. And I yelled at one of the supervisors, and I was like, "Why the fuck would you say that? Why would you do that to me? I was doing a really good job, like building displays, and you guys know that. Why the fuck would you put me 6 feet under and do that shit? What benefit do I get out of that? How does that benefit me? Where has my hard work gone?" No response. And by no response, meaning they didn't care until after they got me back and they were like, "Hey, we need somebody in the meat department." I'm like, thank fucking God. Thank God. And that lasted for like another 9 months before I got into that. The meat department was fun. Even if you're working as a clerk, like hauling like 50 pounds worth of whatever and building displays really quick, it gives you a fucking severe fucking workout. I'll tell you what, if you're really good at it, you don't even have to fucking go to the gym.
Instacart presents the perfect sick day.
Why?
Picture this.
I don't want to.
Sweatpants. These sitcoms you've seen 57 times. Your Instacart order, complete with cold
Instacart my
issues,
nuts.
will be at your door in as fast as 30 minutes.
That's cool.
All you have to do is exist and let yourself.
Cool.
Sounds too good to be.
Cool. I'm muting in a
Sounds
meeting.
like-
Cool.
Download
Neat.
$0 delivery.
Instacart my
Orders.
nuts.
Excludes restaurant orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Oh, cool.
I heard you running around with another crowd lately. They say you might have even lost touch, crazy. And all the things that keep you up at night. It's not too late to get the wrong things right. Just remember that you can't look back, forever gone. Haven't felt like you can be yourself for so long. And all the times you whispered to yourself, hold on.
I understand like this video is like 30 plus minutes like talking with myself, but I feel like I need to let loose a little bit.
I know change is not always painless. Human meaning. Trust all the signs that you see in you. Just can't look back. Too many things that can haunt you. Bad dreams don't last. 'Cause I'm here if you want to. Take some advice from me. Deep down, it's the only way to be free. You just can't look back. I know the world can seem dark and so cold, and we're all living in a tale that's been told. Yeah, just know that there's another path to roll. If you give yourself the light, then you will grow, and you don't have to look back. Don't look back. I know change is not always painless. Human meaning, just all the signs that you see, and you just can't look back. Too many things that can haunt you, and dreams don't last. 'Cause I'm here if you want to. Take some advice from me. Deep down, it's the only way to be free. You just can't look back. You know you can't look back. You just can't look back.